Hey Frank,
So,
how you doing?
not bad at all.
Just waiting for Cole. Says Cole's iPhone. I don't know if this is going to be Cole Adams or Cole Turner. Maybe
Hi,
there.
Ian.
Which Cole is it?
Adams.
Cole. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
And now we got Hugo coming in. So what we'll do, guys, this is a review. So this is going to be just revision. Because also I'm going to send this out to the students that were unable to make it at the weekend. So I think the best way for us to do this is, unfortunately, it won't be interactive. If you can mute, I'm going to go through my notes that we laid out, because I want everyone to have the most clear and concise information. And then at the end, when I've gone through and I stop the recording, we can probably hang out a little bit and chat individually, or if you have any individual questions. So I'm going to share my screen. And ultimately, we're going to go through goal setting. I guess goal setting 101. And congratulations to all the students that came this weekend. Number one, for getting out of bed early on a Sunday and committing. But number two, your knowledge on goal setting was awesome. There's not many teenagers that can articulate the difference between an outcome goal and a process goal. And there's certainly not many teenagers that understand how important it is to disassociate ourselves with the outcome and to really try super hard to focus on the process. And everyone that came to class had that knowledge. So I thought it was excellent. The one area that we need to improve on, and this is my fault, and this is where KOHR as an academy and us core coaches need to do a better job. We need to hold you guys more accountable, because you had the knowledge. You'd learn a lot about goal setting, but most of you, if not all of you, were a little disconnected from your goals. You couldn't remember what we talked about in November. You could remember the philosophy and what you'd learned, but you didn't know where your goals were. You couldn't quite remember what goals you'd set. When we did the goal setting challenge in August, that work that a lot of you had done, you didn't know what journal it was in. You didn't know what folder it was in. You didn't know where it was on Coach Now. So the goal for 2022 is to help you guys really be connected with your goals at all times. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to go through the what, how, why process, and we're going to turn our what, how, why goals into a vision board. So for those that weren't with us last week, quickly going to run through on my whiteboard. When we set a goal, every goal has 3 parts. So part number 1, we declare what we want. That's going to give us our outcome. So Frank, who's on this call, what's Frank's outcome? What does he want to achieve this year? He wants to play golf in college. Now, if we think about this, if we think of Frank's outcome, what he wants to play college golf, that is low control. And the reason it's low control is because Frank can't control his scores. Frank can't control how other people play. Frank can't control his junior scoreboard ranking. And ultimately, Frank can't control what a college coach thinks of him. So as a human, if we focus on outcomes, if we invest our time and energy and our brain into outcomes, into what we want, we will become stressed. Because as a human, if we do not feel in control, we will become stressed. And one of the main things I want in my role at KOHR, I want to help every single student that comes to this academy reduce the stresses of life, reduce anxiety, just be more relaxed and just be happier on a daily basis. And one of the ways that we can do that is we can declare our outcomes, but then we have to try and move away from them. We have to try and not think about them. And we have to try and put our energy into the next part of the goal setting process, which is how. And how gives us our process. So we declare what we want, play college golf. How are we going to get there? What are the highly controllable steps that we take? What is our process to doing that? So it could be something as simple as I am going to practice my short game for 1 hour a week. It could be something away from golf, like every morning I'm going to write a to-do list of the top 5 things I have to do that day. Or it could be something else, like if we want to play college golf, I'm going to send 10 emails a day. That's something that I can control. I can't control getting into college, but I can control how many emails I send. And if we do that, because the process, if we can focus on our process and disassociate ourselves with the outcome, we will be relaxed because we will feel in control. So the what goal gives us our outcome. The how goal gives us our process. And the last part of setting a goal, we've got to understand why. Why are we doing this? Why do you play golf? Why did you come to KOHR so early on a Sunday? What's your why? What motivates you? And this is key. Motivation is key, because on your road to college golf, knowing what you want, once you've developed your processes, how you're going to achieve that, there's definitely some adversity around the corner. There's definitely some hard times. There's definitely some failure. And if you're not tapped into why you do this, then you're not motivated and you won't be able to deal with that stress. You won't be able to deal with that adversity. So what we covered in the session, these provide you your outcomes. They're low control, so we try not to focus on them because we will get stressed. Instead, we try and focus on how, because that gives us our process and it's high control. And if we feel in control, we'll be relaxed. And we also need to understand why, because that's going to keep us motivated. So most of you remembered a lot of that very well. But what we didn't necessarily do well was stay connected with that. So I'll open this up and we can see on here, and I gave this example in the classroom. This is my vision board for the year 2022. So I think I've been doing this one a year for the last 14 years. And it's very important that if we want to stay connected to our goals and we want to be relaxed and we want to be motivated, we create this board and we have it in places that we're going to see it. That's the number one thing. We've got to have this board in places that we're going to see it. So we might want to have it on our phone. We might want to have it as the background on our computer. If you can see behind me, we have a canvas there. You could get a canvas made like that and hang it in your bedroom. But ultimately, the goal, every student is going to create one of these vision boards and we're going to put them in the office and the gym. And we're also going to be able to take them up to practice. So at times when we're finding it hard to focus, or at times when we don't want to practice, if you let your coach know that, then potentially we can come to the office, get your vision board, and you can see what you want to achieve. You can see how you're going to achieve it, and you can see why you want it. So what we're trying to do is hold everyone accountable to their goals by making this part of the culture at Core Golf. This will become an annual thing, something we will do every single year. So if we focus in on mine, we can see here that one of my goals is to do 20 pull-ups without stopping. So that's an outcome. How am I going to achieve that? Well, I'm going to go to the gym. My target is 260 times this year. And every time I go to the gym, I'm going to journal. So this is something very, very, very controllable. If I manage my time, I can go to the gym 260 times and I can journal. Every time I go to the gym, I can write down my progress. I can write down what I'm doing. And I'm also going to buy a whoop strap. So I have an outcome. This is what I want. I then have how I'm going to get it. 260 times, that's part of the process. Journaling is part of the process. The whoop strap is part of the process. And then I have why I want it, because I want to be super fit and super healthy. And then eventually when I'm older and I'm a dad, I'll be able to play sport with my children and I'll be able to be a great dad and I'll be able to have fun. So ultimately 20 pull-ups takes on a different dimension when I start looking at why I want it. So every student at Core, what do you want? Put it into pictures. How are you going to get it? Put it into pictures. Why you want it? Put it into pictures. Let me just stop that. And one of the questions that was asked quite a lot on Sunday, which is a great question, is, Coach, what time frame should I do this over? Should I do this over this year? Should I do it over next year? How many pictures of what should I have? How many hows? And my answer to that, any questions that you're having right now from either being on this call or any questions that you're having from watching the recording, is listen to the question, but are you trying to be too perfect? Remember, this isn't a school project for a grade. This is something that is going to make you relaxed, happy, and motivated. And ultimately, what we're trying to achieve here is a habit. We're trying to achieve a habit. We're trying to achieve a slightly different way of thinking, moving our attention away from outcomes towards processes and towards motivators. And we're trying to create habits that over time will start to make us a more effective person. So don't make this perfect. Go with your gut instinct. If you want to play on the PGA Tour, and that's 20 years away, you can put that. If you want to be an attorney, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a surgeon, and that's years away, you can put that. Feel free to have these pictures for something that you might want to achieve tomorrow or that you might want to achieve in 20 years. But the catch is, for every single picture, for every single outcome, you've got to have some hows and you've got to have some whys. And that's really everything that we covered during the session. So I'm gonna probably stop the recording and answer questions from anyone that's tuned into the Zoom if they have any. But before I do that, I'm gonna make it clear on the time frame of this. So we just had week 1. If I can just move this. So we just had week 1. And in week 1, we covered the whole goal of what we're going to achieve in the goal setting. So we discussed goal setting. In week 2, which is going to be next week. So week 2, by the time week 2 finishes, I want everyone to have written down all of their whats and all of their hows. And in the session on Sunday, week 2, you'll have time to do that. And you'll also have time to go on your iPad, your phone, or your computer and start to find images on Google Image for that resonate and reflect what you're writing down. So Brandon is going to be the coach in here next week because I'm away on the Florida trip with some students. But in week 2, when you come this Sunday, write down all of your whats, all of your hows, and start to collate the pictures from Google Image. Then when I'm back in week 3, the goal then, we're going to really focus on why. We're going to really focus on why and your motivators. And we'll see how that session goes. But ultimately, week 4 and potentially week 5, you'll have time to continue with your vision boards. And then roughly by week 5, week 6, I want them to be finished, sent to me. And I want to have the opportunity to talk with every single one of you individually about what it is that you've got on your board, about the processes, and about your motivators. So that's how the sessions are going to go. So apologies that I'm not going to be here next week, but Brandon will be managing the mental sessions in the classroom, and I will see you all in week 3. Perfect. I'll stop this recording. And if anyone has any questions, so Frank, Cole, Kylie, if you want to stay online, you can do, and we can have a little chat. But to everyone else who's tuned in to watch the recording, thank you. Have a great week. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon.